Hi, in this video, our team will present the results of our needs assessment and usability evaluation of the Woodson Research Center Special Collection. Woodson Research Center, or WRC, is an archive located in the Bondurant Library at Rice University in Houston. It aims at helping students, faculty, and scholars to better access the digital and physical collections and archival materials in the center. To better understand the challenges our clients are facing, we first held a call with our stakeholders to frame the problems in several aspects. What do they need? What is the struggle? What is confusing? And lastly, why? And the intended target users of our clients' websites were students, scholars, faculty, and library staffs. To better understand the system, we built 2 interaction maps and applied 3 needs assessments and 2 usability evaluation methods to evaluate the website. In the first half of the course, we were doing needs assessment by using 3 different methods, which were interviews, comparative analysis, and surveys. To better understand our users' general habits in finding archival materials, as well as their expectations and frustrations when using the website, we conducted our 4 interviews with the users having different educational and occupational background. And then using that information, we created the 3 personas, as you can see here below. Elizabeth, who's a 27 years old postdoctoral fellow who uses finding aids heavily, and Johnson, who's a 30 years old archive researcher who prefers to get direct access to collections. And lastly, Lisa, who is a 20 years old undergraduate student who is not a frequent user of the WRC website. Our analysis looked into multiple competing and non-competing products to better understand the features, especially the search function, guides, and services that WRC website can provide. These products were categorized into direct, partial, analogous, and parallel. And then we deployed a survey geared towards our primary users type to validate the qualitative data we gathered so far from our interview and comparative analysis. And in the second half of the course, we conducted usability evaluation methods to identify areas for improvement and help users learn better and understand how the WRC website function. And our first method was heuristic evaluation, which allowed us to analyze and define the most pressing accessibility issues with the WRC site user's interface and system by adhering to the Nielsen's 10 usability heuristics. And then we leveraged these key findings to structure the main task for our 6 usability tests with participants who have background in archives. This final method allowed us to observe and get an in-depth view of how potential user encounters usability issues. There were several observations that we were able to make based on our need assessment and usability evaluation methods, which included issues in performance, search process navigations, mistakes stemming from improper visual designs, and locations of the DEI statements. Our overall finding goes to show that the WRC navigation can be considered inefficient, and there were definitely uncertainty due to the lack of icon indicators being misplaced, no proper instructions or guidelines on how to use or make the most of the search engine, the DI statements not being located in the prevalent area, which made the whole process quite daunting and inefficient overall. And there were multiple errors detected within the WRC navigation process where the participants were unable to identify certain elements. The users had to learn through trial and error process to figure out how certain features worked, and some of them in layout had no visual hierarchy of any kind to help the users navigate through them. For this part, we recommend making the navigation scannable with a quick search function that will reduce the reading time, avoid internal jargons, reward some navigation labels to make the links label understandable, and in addition, reduce the complexity of information architecture through category navigation and eradication of similar services. Additionally, the overall aesthetics and the visual design of the icons and the features made it difficult for the users to understand the features and the functionality of some elements. Aesthetics usability effect states that the users often perceive aesthetically pleasing designs to be more usable. And while the WRC website's overall design is far from bad, there are definitely areas such as color harmonies and feature logo design that can be much better. And based on our finding, we recommend using icon indicators to facilitate the information. And for instance, by hovering the icons, there should be a description that helps the users to quickly and accurately predict what they will get before they click on, as almost like an indicator. And some key functions could be made more accessible by clicking on the icon or title to review a spreading bar with the information. And for the search process, there were no guidelines on effective and efficient search, and the users had to learn how to use the search process themselves. While the search interface design resembles that of a standardized search made it easier for users to understand how to navigate with it, the search itself required a specific and specialized search to elicit an effective output, meaning there was no general search at all. And for this one, we recommend using helpful guides such as text or graphic instructions, and even a walkthrough with visuals to assist the users in understanding the functionality of a finding aid search features, and different scenarios in which users may utilize features such as filters to retrieve specific archive and collection items. And if the technical constraints actually allows for broader search, such as general one, you would recommend that as well too. And last but not least, the DI statements as an important information to be conveyed were hidden within a button, and even after the click, the information given was confusing as there was no emphasis among the information and had uniform fonts which made it even difficult to distinguish. Furthermore, it was the least performing task within our usability testing based on the satisfaction rate, length, and success. The DI statement should be highlighted in a more prominent location. And as a result, we recommend changing the name of the link to include the phrase diversity, equity, and inclusion. And also, by utilizing the visual elements such as images or video to increase the user engagement with the WRC's diversity of efforts regarding the archive and collection building. And if there's another prominent logo to be spotted, that will make it even better. As we reflect on our first project, we experienced three main shortcomings. First, it became harder to recruit users due to different schedules between Rice and Michigan over the semester. And we wanted to maintain a balance with sticking to our primary user types, but we were forced to engage with available ones such as archivist and postdoctoral researcher. And second, we had to consider technical constraints when developing recommendations, given the WRC software. This forced us to think more creatively about our recommendations to the client. And lastly, the scope changed at times given the contrasting issues between the landing page and the finding aids. These conflicting priorities made it difficult to select what to include in our reports and resulted in some of the significant findings being left out. As a closing statement, we encourage the WRC to continue interviewing and engaging with potential users, specifically students, to retrieve more rich insights for the next steps. And also, we recommend the WRC create a product timeline to individually test and iterate through the site's features to redesign instead of a massive overhaul of the sites in one instance. Thank you so much for watching and hope you have a good summer.